of me. Run through the land, you run through my soul. Bring me wisdom and peace. Run through all ages and all of life's stages. You bring me around to find my release.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis and Blanding the Turtle. Did I get that right?
You did.
We are here with Deborah Costine, and she actually, wait till you see these puppets that she designed herself. She's an artist, a puppeteer, and a naturalist. She's been doing puppeteering for 45 years. Look at her, she doesn't look like it would be that long. This is my favorite one so far. I love this. Where'd you get the idea for the turtle?
I live on the Sudbury River, and across the river from my house is a wetland.
Yeah.
And I love taking my kayak up and down my little stretch of river and into the wetland on the other side. And wetlands are very important environmentally because they control floodwaters and among supporting hundreds of species of living things.
Like me.
And like the turtle, and I love just paddling around. And I wanted a new topic for a puppet show because I do a lot of puppet shows in elementary schools and libraries and museums. And I wanted a topic that would be instructive, informative, that would promote nature and caring for the environment. So I just started with lots of ideas, and gradually, I honed it down, got it down to a wetland habitat and the animals that would, some of the animals that would live in it.
But he's so professional. When you see it looks like
Well, it looks professional because that's what I am.
Yes. But I mean, to look at, I've seen puppeteers, and, they're okay, they're cute. This is something that you might find in a very special gallery, this type of thing. This, no kidding. The hard shell, the body of it. I bet the kids absolutely love it. I got a 27-year-old son who's going to love this because he's got a turtle.
Children do love the turtle.
Heck, with the kids I like, I want to take him home.
Yeah, and I so I chose, I can only use just so many puppets, characters, because I have only 2 hands. Yeah. So I kept it as brief and kind of simplified as possible to tell the story of the Blandings turtle who needs a new safe wetland habitat. Aww. And the other animals some of the other animals that would live there, which means the
wait till you see this. Now, what's this beaver's name?
This is Castor canadensis.
Castor what?
Canadensis.
What does that mean?
So that is the scientific name for the North American beaver. And so his name is Castor, and he is, and this is all part of the educational content. I didn't make stuff up. He's 2 years old, and when beavers are 2 years old, it's time for them to leave the lodge where they had been living with the family, with the parents.
Mom and Dad kick him out.
That's right.
Get out of here.
That's right. So he now, at age 2, has to go out and make his own way in the world.
Yeah.
So he has to find a new place where he can build a dam, create the pond for his lodge, so he will be safe and have food. So Blanding is looking for a new safe wetland habitat. He's looking for a place to build a wetland habitat.
So they become friends.
They do. They become friends, and following along after Blanding is her friend Salamander. Now, hi, Blanding.
Hi. Somebody goes, those two are nuts.
He is, so Salamander, first of all, I made him much bigger than a salamander would be. Salamanders would only be about this big, but on a puppet stage with 100 children watching,
Right.
he wouldn't be visible.
No.
So I made him as big as I wanted to. But see, even the details,
I want to see the salamander.
yeah, you can...
Now, how do you make him go? Oh, you have a stick for him?
Yes, yes, so I control him from below. He perches on a rotten log,
Okay.
and he lives under the rotten log.
So he makes friends with Blandon and the beaver.
He's friends with Blanding and trying to keep up with her. And no, she goes pretty fast compared to the
Now,
salamander.
show her to us. Who's this?
Oh, this is a boy. Salamander is friends with Blanding the turtle.
Okay.
And salamander, one thing the children learn is that salamander has to stay out of the dry.
Yeah.
He doesn't like dry. And
No.
he says numerous times in the show, I don't like dry. This is the way that he talks.
Yeah.
He says, I don't like dry. You know why?
Yeah.
Because it's dry. It's too dry, and I don't like dry. So he has to stay under moist leaves as he's trying to keep up with Blanding.
This reminds me of Mr. Rogers' tale. You have the talent for making these, the talent for doing it. You're down underneath doing it, all of the voices?
Yes,
All of them.
all the
And
voices.
how many do you have in all? How many voices?
I tried to sort that out. I would say 20 to 25 maybe different voices that I do.
Right.
Like, I mean, I could rattle off
Yeah,
like,
it's okay, yeah.
well, one of them is, I am Katwinka, the midwinter sprite, bringing you dreams of a midwinter night.
She's German.
Well, she's sort of, I think of her as kind of being like inspired by Billy Burke, and she's a snow sprite.
Yeah.
We had a show for a long time called Midwinter Magic, and so I thought, what would be like light,
Yeah.
and her voice goes up a lot, and then like the stepsister and Cinderella,
Yeah.
two different voices. Cinderella,
That's perfect.
my room is a big mess. Go clean it up. Oh, well, it was very clean yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, see, last night I decided to try on all my dresses. All of them? Yeah. That's 150 dresses. I know. That's why the room is a mess. See, first I tried on the red dress. You know that? Oh, yes. And it was too long, so I took it off and flung it. And then I tried on the black dress, and it was too short. So I took it off and flung it. So that's just like...
The Wicked Stepsister and Cinderella.
That's right.
When did you start? 45 years ago, what got you into the puppets? What made you majored in art in college. We went to the same college.
Yes.
What got this? Nobody told me about puppets at the college.
Right, I certainly... There was no puppetry in college. After college... I moved to the Boston area, and I was taking art classes in the evening.
Where'd you go?
Oh, at just little places. The Copley Society had life-drawing classes in the evening, and the Boston Guild of Art did.
Yeah.
And that is where I met Lenny Gerwick. And he and I started Gerwick Puppets. Lenny had grown up in New York City doing puppet shows. I had grown up in the hinterlands, northern New Hampshire,
Yeah.
an hour north of Plymouth.
So you were beyond the White Mountains, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, northwest of Mount Washington.
Way up there.
And we did see, the first puppets I saw was Captain Kangaroo.
Oh, okay. I
With-
remember him. Bunny Rabbit, Mr. Moose.
Yep. And that was my main, that was my only exposure.
Yeah.
And then, so I met Lenny Gerwick, who'd grown up doing puppetry. And so we became good friends and actually eventually got married.
Oh.
And then unmarried.
Yeah.
Continued working together for all these 45 years now. He and I don't, by the way, kind of retired as Gerwig Puppets, but I'm carrying on with my own solo
I'm glad.
shows.
Where so you go? We are talking with Deborah Costine, and she is an artist, a puppeteer, and a naturalist. And she has what we've shown you, the turtle puppet, the beaver, and the two of them are friends, and then the salamander. And they're talking about that naturalistic outlook of how does the beaver go ahead to make his so they help each other.
Right.
Where have you been appearing?
My shows mostly elementary schools.
Yeah. Do they contact you? Or do
Yes, I mail, as Lenny and I did, the same thing, mail every year
Yeah.
to every elementary school within, give or take, a 2-hour radius.
Yeah. That is. So now, how can people connect with you if they want to have you come, or if they have any questions? How would they reach you?
Deborah Costine, Nature Puppets.
Costine.
Yeah. Deborah Costine, naturepuppets.com. But if you just even do a Google search for Nature Puppets or Puppets in Southborough, Massachusetts, I've been well all over the web for a long time now. So plenty of information and images.
How far will you travel if somebody's interested? How far would you
I
go?
try to stay within a 2-hour
Okay, that's
radius.
fair.
Yeah, because 2 hours there, an hour and a half to set up,
Oh.
an hour to do the show, half an hour, 45 minutes to break down, 2 hours to drive back is a full day.
That's a long day. Do you ever go? Probably no, but to artists and crafts fairs? No, that wouldn't fit in.
No, oh, you mean to perform?
Yeah, I would think, at the Eastern States Exposition, you'd be great as one of their hit, focused.
I prefer quieter, more focused
You like that.
audiences. Some people have said, you could do this at a mall.
You could.
And I could, but then, people are talking, they're walking by, and you're trying to connect very closely with an audience. You need to not be interrupted by, Johnny, do you want another hot dog?
do any of the art teachers you had up at Plymouth State, do they know what you did? Have you ever brought them back to show?
Yes, I have. Informally.
Yeah.
Although a number of years ago, actually maybe 25 years ago now, they had a seminar of making a life in the arts. So I was on a panel discussion
Up at Plymouth?
at Plymouth State.
Oh, I knew
Yeah,
about it,
and well, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then also puppets in education. I've done some workshops in the summer program, and
We must have gone past each other.
I'm sure.
Did
we
you
must
stay in a
have.
dormitory?
I did.
I ended up most in Smith.
Yeah,
Where were you?
I was in Smith,
Which floor?
second floor.
My roommate and I were down at the very end. With so many students, they had to open up the little.
Yes,
Room
the
at the
study
back.
corral or something. So, who was your roommate?
Christine Gardner.
Oh, I know her. I remember her.
I was a bridesmaid at her wedding, and I would have guessed she's still up in New Hampshire. Have you seen her around?
No, never. Not at all.
Yeah,
So
she
we
was-
were same dorm, same floor, same major. I'm sure that if I saw a picture of you, then I would remember.
This is bizarre. We have never met.
Right. But we probably did.
And what happened to me in art class, well,
I don't even know who
that teacher was horrendous. You don't tell an artist, geez, there's something wrong with your eyes, because you're not seeing. I'm not into every detail in a leaf or a plant.
No.
Mine is more like this. She could have taken me aside and said, that is amazing. I love that. How about trying it this way? Instead of saying, is there something wrong with your eyes? I left that class like that. I dumped that right off. I knew this woman, there's something hooey here. No, you don't do that.
No.
So I went to art history. That was pretty easy. I started off in elementary ed. Did you start off in art? You started
in
in art.
Oh, I'm sorry. Art education, because
Yeah.
there was no pure art major when I started.
But my roommate was majoring in that. That's why I thought this looks cool, and I'll switch. Yeah.
Right. So in 1968, in the fall of 68,
Oh, you were there before me.
when I started, there was no art. You couldn't have a a BFA.
Yeah.
So you could get a Bachelor of Science with a major in art education. So that's what I did.
Maybe that's what she was doing.
Maybe.
Where are you going to appear in coming up so people can come find you?
I perform periodically at the Puppet Showplace Theater in Brookline, Massachusetts. Currently I don't have anything scheduled there. This is always the slow time for me.
Really?
So
I would think it'd be really...
it used to be.
Well, why not now?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
With all the activities and fun and...
I could promote more for corporate Christmas parties, which is what Lenny and I, as Gerwick Puppets, used to do. So that during December, every weekend, we would do 2 or 3 or 4 shows every weekend.
Yeah.
But also, we used to do Midwinter Magic almost every school day before the holiday break.
Yeah.
Schools rarely have puppetry as a program anymore. I think schools are so focused and feel very pressured that every minute in the classroom is urgent because of the tests.
The MCAS thing.
Yes.
Not every kid tests well.
Mm-hmm.
They could be just as bright and brilliant as the kid next to them, but their motor doesn't run the same way.
Exactly. Tell me about it.
My poor son, I mean, he was in, I don't know what grade, elementary school, and he's one of those Energizer bunnies. And you got to sit, the kids have to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
The teacher had enough of him, so she called the assistant principal, who gets along well with kids. He took Wally out of the classroom, Wally, took him out and walked him around, changed the atmosphere. Wally came back and finished it.
There you go. Children need variety.
Yeah.
They need movement.
Compassion.
We should be educating well-rounded people.
Yeah.
And I know that nowadays they're kind of saying, oh, they'll learn art history later.
Not necessarily.
No. They'll learn about nature later. Not necessarily.
You know what I was thinking for you? I know kids in the hospital. I've volunteered at UMass. Have you connected with the major hospitals, especially children's in Boston?
I have done that, but it's like it's been 45 years of doing this, and for most of those 45 years, it was really, really tough to make a living. Mm-hmm. And so you couldn't do things that wouldn't pay. Mm-hmm. And most hospitals don't have the funds for that. Mm-hmm. And they don't have a space. I went once very early on with some puppets to this little girl who was in the hospital. Mm-hmm. And her mom had brought me in. Her mom was volunteering then. And so I did some of that, but, I felt like a fish out of water. I felt inadequate. Like I didn't know how to really connect with that child.
I can see this.
I would now.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
I guess it's just not what there's so many other things that I'm doing and interested in.
Yeah.
And I'm I am a puppeteer. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. And nature, the naturalist.
Right. So I'm out in the woods. I'm leading walks, working more locally, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm vice president of the Southborough Open Land Foundation, and I'm also. It does get dry in here.
Yeah, it does.
I also have gotten very involved in historic preservation.
Oh, you'd love our historical society right next door. If they're still open, go in there.
Yeah.
Have you been to the Upton Cave?
No.
It's for real. I haven't been there either.
Cave
for real. It's a cave in the woods, Upton in our forest. We don't know when it was made. Did the Druids did it? Did the Indians? We don't know. I don't think for sure we know. I may be wrong, but it's kind of a mystery.
You mean it appears to have been man-made?
And it sounds as if it was like centered at a certain point so that they could see the sunrise or where the sun was.
Oh,
He can tell you more about it. And you know,
I will look it up.
The cave in Upton, and you can read about it. Shame on me for not. But anyway, it's evidently, it's fascinating.
I will look it up.
Yeah.
That's what I look everything up.
You know what I'm thinking too? Well, would this cheer someone up in hospice?
Mm-hmm.
Even as an adult, if I were in the hospital or if I was really sick, Dana-Farber, something like that. We've got it right up the street. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool.
Yeah.
At any age.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's true. It would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got quite a thing going here. And as soon as I saw this doggone turtle, I put my, there he is. Oh, hi, Wally. That's a nice. So now, tell us about this girl puppet. Who is she?
Actually, so this is Edward.
Oh, it's a boy.
It's a boy, and he's actually modeled after my grandnephew.
Uh-huh.
And I had his mom take front view and side view so that I could sculpt his head. So there's the boy and the girl in the story, Edward and Rachel. So and I wanted this also to provide some interesting information. They have to have a name. So Edward is named after E.O. Wilson, a very predominant, very important naturalist and environmentalist. He is the go-to person on the ants.
Okay.
E.O. Wilson, he's in Massachusetts. And Rachel is named after a very important naturalist woman, Rachel Carson, who is the founder of probably preventing toxic chemicals being used on our food.
Yeah. Do you ever talk about climate change with your puppets?
I'm sure working on that direction. If I do create another show, it would be that because I don't know that anything is more important than that right now.
You know, at Upton Library downstairs, we've got a great children's department and the head of the children's department. When you leave, you might want to go downstairs and see them. They're right there at the desk. I would come. I would love to see this right here because they do have events for the kids.
Yeah, are they having any events today for kids?
I don't know.
I'm a kid.
Yeah?
I like events.
Yeah. Go downstairs. Take your friend with you and then go downstairs.
Rachel? Okay, I'd
That
like to
sounds
go. Yeah. You want to go? Yeah. Okay, we'll go. We'll talk to them.
What does your family think about this wonderfulness?
They like it.
Yeah.
They like the. They're interested. They don't really get to see very much. I have my oldest brother is in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send them a little link to this, and a brother in southern New Hampshire and one in northern New Hampshire.
Are you the baby of the family?
I have a brother who's younger.
Okay, well, you're in that way. Do you have kids, grown children now?
I do, yes. I have a daughter.
Okay, how old is she now?
She's 35.
Okay, my kid is 27. All right. He has a big tank. He and his roommate each have a big tank. These are foreign turtle species. And it's a girl. He found out it was a girl, but he named it Bowser.
Okay.
And he can tell when it's eggs. Evidently, the eggs build up in her, and she gets rid of them, and she's miserable beforehand. I'm thinking, he's really, really into this.
Yeah. Right. Well, she has to find a place to lay her eggs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And see, again, it's all about taking all the facts and then creating a story around the facts. She is 40 years old.
You don't look it.
And thank you very much. 40 years old. She needs to find, she's still laying eggs, still productive.
Menopause, not for you, right?
Not yet.
No.
And the place where she had been living, all of a sudden that wetland habitat had experienced habitat fragmentation, meaning in this case, a road had been built between the wetland where she lives and the high sandy place where she goes every spring to lay her eggs. And as I say to the children after the show, we know what happens when turtles try to cross the road.
Yeah.
So she, because of the new road, she's searching for a new wetland habitat that is safe, which is when she meets up with Castor canadensis, the beaver, who is looking for a place where no other beavers are immediately. And so she finds out that he's going to build a dam and create a wetland. So now she knows that she's safe to go lay her eggs.
How many eggs will she have? Do you know?
She lays 8.
Do they
That's-
survive?
Well,
Yeah, kind of a crapshoot for the turtle.
that's right, exactly.
yeah.
In fact, so she lays 8. 8. I chose 8 because that's the average number. Sometimes it's fewer, sometimes it's more, but that's like the average. And so then you fast forward toward the end. It's time, and she's waiting for the babies to come back.
Yeah.
And the children in the audience are getting a little concerned. They want the babies to be safe, and gradually they appear. They come down and they come out onto the side of the water, and then they go in. And then I circle it around, and it comes back, and 7 appear, and there's no. And then they're waiting for the 8th baby. And then Edward, they're off stage, and he says, "Rachel, look at this." And she says, "Oh, it's a baby turtle." And they found the baby turtle in the woods. Rachel and Edward are on their way down to look at the water.
Yeah.
And they find the baby turtle on its way. It has stopped. And Edward then says, "Can I keep it? I want to take it home. I have a box I could put it in. I'll take good care of it. I'll feed it every day." And she says, because she's older, she's the babysitter, "But Edward, this is not, a box is not its natural environment." And as soon as the children hear that he wants to take it home and put it in a box, you can hear the children out there saying, "No, no." And so they back away, and the turtle makes its way so that now all 8 babies are safe.
We have talked with Deborah Costine. She's got me mesmerized. This is something that I think is absolutely fantastic. And when I saw these puppets, I'm like, my God, they look so real. So one more time, we have to close. How can they reach you?
My website is Deborah Costine, naturepuppets.com, and Costine is Costine, Deborah Costine, Deborah Costine, naturepuppets.com. And I also have a Nature Puppets Facebook page that's always public. I don't really post regularly on it, but it's got my information, plus a link to the website.
Okay, that's great. You know, you'll go, if you're interested in having her come, just contact her and see, connect with her and see if maybe she'd like to come and do a show, because I know that I would love it. I mean, the heck with the, I think we should do it like for the grown-ups too. Maybe you have to be a kid at heart. I don't know.
Grown-ups are always intrigued that they, as they say, I liked it even more than the children did. I hear
did
that
your
a
mother
lot.
read to you the Thornton Burgess books, Mother West Wind? Mm-hmm. I grew up with that, and she would be the animal she'd read to me. Mm-hmm. So I guess I looked at, my mother did it very early, and thank you for being with us. You can have her back again, too.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. It's been fun.
See you later. See you next time on Be My Guest.